All right, so we're here talking to senior lecturer in biomechanics at the University of Sunderland. Here with Eddie Bradley, who's going to have a conversation with us today about his role at the university and his career path, and then hopefully he can help you guys get a better idea of where you want to be at the end of your university journey. So, morning, Eddie. You okay, mate?
Yeah, morning, Rob. Nice to see you.
Yeah, brilliant. So what is your job role at the University of Sunderland then?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm senior lecturer in biomechanics within the exercise, sport and rehabilitation therapies team. I've been in this role for 9 years now. I'm also the program leader for sport and exercise sciences, and I've been doing that for 6 years. So, in essence, the lecturer role is looking into biomechanics, which is human movement, technique analysis, understanding how the body moves. I also teach performance analysis and the role of the sports scientist as well. So I've sort of got two areas that I teach in. And then on top of that, like I said, I've got the program leader position for sport and exercise sciences. So I oversee the whole program, the development of the program, identifying new areas for teaching, and also look after the students across all 3 years, looking at their overall progression, etc.
Brilliant. So let's have a look at your career journey then. So how did you get to that point? Where were you before the University of Sunderland?
Well, it's sort of a bit of a veering path. I've always been interested in sport, always sort of been the big area that I wanted to do. So sort of generally everything led me to study sport science as a degree. So that's what I did. I did that as a degree. Then it was at the time when sports science was sort of becoming more popular. And at the time, there was an opportunity to go straight onto a master's in sport and exercise science. This course that I went on to was only second year it was running, so it's quite a common thing nowadays, but back then it wasn't. So I went straight on to do a sport and exercise science master's, so developing and expanding my interest in sports science. When I was doing the sports science degree, I was very much physiology based. I was always interested in how the body worked. But then through sort of the different teachers, different lecturers I had, really influenced by one who was a biomechanist. So that sort of shifted what my interest was in. So then I just started focusing in more on the biomechanics side of things as I went through the masters. I got provided with the opportunity to go and study a PhD. Again, not a common thing back when I was a student, but this is where the path veered off slightly. The PhD was actually in mechanical engineering, so right. quite different from the sports science route I was doing. But it was using skills that I'd picked up during my masters. Which was mainly computer simulation of the human body. So even though I say it was mechanical engineering, it was what I class as clinical biomechanics. So it was using computer simulation and mechanical testing to try and understand how we can fix bones more efficiently. So like I said, quite a different area, but something quite interesting. So yeah, I got provided with the opportunity of doing that. Like I said, it was hip fractures, which are sort of quite a big problem in general, especially when people are older and they fall over and break the hips. Yeah. So it was just figuring out how you can like screw the bones back together better and more efficiently. So that was that route, and that was successful. That was really enjoyable, really interesting sort of area to go into. But it did, like I said, did take me away from sport, but opened up a lot of sort of different areas, different opportunities. From there, I went on to work at a postdoctoral position at Leeds University, looking at osteoarthritis. So again, sort of staying within that sort of medical health area. Following on from the PhD. However, it wasn't that interesting. So yeah, I did the postdoc, but I wasn't really enjoying it. Wasn't really what I wanted to do because, let's say, it wasn't really the sport elements. It was very much removed from that. And after the postdoc had finished, an opportunity arose to become a physiology lab technician at Durham. So I took that position on. It was only meant to be. It was a temporary position. But one of the great things about it was I was also offered the opportunity to do some teaching while I was there as well. They needed sort of someone to fill in for different areas. The physiology lecturer went off long term due to some surgery. A couple of the other staff went off, so I sort of jumped in with the opportunity to pick up these sort of extra teaching roles as well, which was really allowed me to expand sort of my skills. And as I was working over in Durham, the position became available at Sunderland. So just as you do, apply for the role, and yeah, I was successful in getting the role here, and that was back in 2012. I started here.
Yeah, sounds great. So some interesting takeaways there. So I mean, when you became a lab technician at Durham, and you said that the opportunity kind of arose for some of those teaching, some like guest lecturing type of spots type things. Was this something that that you'd had experience of before, or was it a bit kind of like out of the blue? And had you done a bit of teaching before, or?
Yeah, I'd done a bit of teaching before while I was doing the PhD. So part of most PhDs, you're expected to do a little bit of teaching alongside it. So I was doing a bit of biomechanics teaching back then. Very much sort of just running labs, running the sort of practical sessions. So it was picking up the experiences through that. But then that just sort of helps sort of facilitate sort of taking it on in a more sort of structured role, because taking on the work at Durham was like I had to do all the planning, had to do all the preparation, write some lectures, prepare lab sessions. So when I was doing it at PhD level, it was much more of a here's the work, go and deliver it. Then it was sort of more you've got to do all the planning and organisation.
Yeah. So was that something that you kind of put your hand up for, and when there was an opportunity arose and you kind of took it, or was it something that was said to you, look, Eddie, there's this, we need you to do this?
First up, it was here's the physiology sessions. We need someone to do it, because that was almost like that was planned. They knew the person was going to be off,
right?
So they went, right, can you take this on? And it was for quite a long period. It was for 6 months, so it was very much a structured. They knew it was happening, but I was like, yeah, definitely, I'll take that on. And then the other work that cropped up after that was, oh, we need someone to do this. So I was like, well, I'll do it. I stuck my hand up for it, took it on. Take the most opportunities that you can get and go with them.
Brilliant. So something that I've asked a lot of people who I've spoken to careers-wise was whether they value the importance of like having a mentor, or like seeking out people to guide you on your career and life and what have you. So I'm just wondering whether that's anything that you ever utilised. Have you ever had a professional mentor or someone like that who's helped you with your career? And
not in any official capacity, no. I've always had people that I've been able to chat with, sort of run things past, be influenced by, but nothing official, nothing that I've ever sort of in official capacity. Like I said, when I was doing the masters, there was obviously had a lecturer who was sort of really influential. So at that point, when I was sort of coming off the masters, it was him who provided me with the links to be involved with to start the PhD. So it was his guidance that sort of directed me down the PhD route. At Durham, there was another lecturer there that was helpful in helping me sort of guide me Further forward, sort of provided me opportunities there. Was the one that actually identified the job that was available at Sunderland and told me go for that.
Yeah.
Give me some advice and guidance on sort of interviewing techniques and what was likely to be asked of me, and what could be, how I could answer things correctly. So there's always been people that have helped guide, even if it's not in a official capacity. But again, it's making connections with people, and if you've got connections with them, seeking out their help, seeking out their advice.
Yeah. So having that informal mentor in terms of, you don't have a set meeting an hour a week where you sit down and, talk very much about goals and stuff like that. But was there kind of an understanding between you that you and them, that you kind of knew that they were there to help you and kind of be that, that critic that's going to kind of keep you on the right? Was there an understanding there about what they were kind of doing, or do you think it was just?
I don't think there was never ever an understanding.
Yeah.
I think it was more just a case of sort of a professional sort of relationship with the other person that helped, and that allowed it to be open. That if you wanted to go and speak to someone, you could, without there being anything explicit in place.
Yeah. Cool. So, looking at our students now, what would be your advice to a student who kind of knows that they want to pursue a career in sport and health, but
I think the biggest thing that I would say is take the most of any opportunities that you can get. It's probably one thing that I never really did as a student. When I look back on it, I was very much a very, very sort of academically driven, classes, do the work, but never really took the chances that were on offer, is the best way to say it. But as I got into the masters and then the PhD, it was very much more taking those opportunities. And then as I've progressed in my professional career, it's now something that I work on quite a lot, is trying to do as much as possible. So if there's opportunities that come available, it's something I will always try and investigate. And that's what I would say to students now, that it's great getting a degree. It's really important getting a degree, but you need to make yourself stand out from the crowd. So you need to try and get as much experience and as many opportunities as you can. Some of those might be actual really formal experiences and opportunities. It might be there might be a specific volunteer role at a club or an opportunity within a group that you have to apply for and go and do. It might be helping out your lecturer doing a project. There may be, there's opportunities just to go out and do things yourself. And I think that's what students should really be doing. It's something we really try and sort of integrate into our programs within the sport area. We always make it very clear that the students can use the equipment, go and test people, test themselves, test the mates, test the teams. We all show them how to use the equipment, and then they can go and do it. And that's the sort of informal opportunities that they can get. They can develop that as much as possible. And then there's loads of, like I said, there's formal things. We've got placements, making the most of the placement opportunities that you can get. Getting involved in clubs, getting involved with sports people, even if it's just going down to the local team and putting out the cones and timing people and things like that. It's a starting point. And the more you do that, the more experience you build up, the more complex and interesting stuff you'll get asked to do. You're very unlikely to be asked to, for example, take blood samples on the first team players before as a first thing you do. If you turn up and do some legwork first, getting to know the coaches, getting to know the players, etc., then you're more likely to get the good experiences, the really interesting stuff. So I think the main thing is to just grab all those opportunities that you can.
Yeah, and that's something that I was trying to get across to the students that I speak with. Is that, it's learning how to apply the knowledge that university gives you. So taking those learning, testing, things like that, and then it's learning how to be able to network to kind of generate these opportunities that you're talking about within clubs, and learning those softer skills, and I think that ties into what you're saying there about taking all the opportunities you can get. Is really just being open to having a chat with your lecturers and getting to know them, and kind of putting your
Yeah,
hand up and doing
yeah,
more.
definitely. There's a lot of the staff already have links that they can point you in the direction of. A lot of them are already doing work in different areas with different groups that they will happily have you help with. So it's getting involved as much as possible.
100%. So before you go, Eddie, I'm just wondering whether there's anything you want to talk about now. Anything interesting you're doing in the field at the minute? I know you saw not so long ago that you had some work in the that was publicised in the Telegraph, wasn't it, about the work that you were doing with the Premiership Women's Rugby Union side?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I've been doing for the last 4 seasons, coming on to the 5th season, that's hopefully going to start in September.
Fingers crossed.
Is work. I work as a sports scientist, performance analyst for the MP Sharks, which is a women's rugby club down in Darlington. They're the only professional, I would say, they're the only top division team. Professional. They're not quite there as a professional league yet, but they're basically the top league in the country, playing the Premier 15s, and have been in since the start, and they just got awarded the franchise for the next 3 years. So I've been working with them for 4 years, providing, as I said, sports science support. So it's been player analysis in terms of movement analysis using GPS devices to measure what they do in training, what they do in matches, to see if we can understand what the demands are on the players, how much work they do, how much sprinting they do, how hard they're playing. Trying to link that. Is there any links between what they're doing in training and what they're doing in matches, so we can sort of optimize training. Also involved with the physical testing that they do. So part of the demands from the RFU is they have to do testing throughout the season. So things like fitness testing, sprint testing, strength testing, body composition, sort of height and weight and things like that. So being involved with that sort of testing. So utilising the equipment that we've got at the university, take it down to the club, sort of sprint testing using light gates, things like that. So that's been really enjoyable, really interesting. Get to work with some sort of high quality rugby players, sort of England players, Scotland players, Spanish players that have been at the club over the years. So that's really been interesting. With that, we've been able to get students involved. So this sort of goes back to the conversations that we've already been having. The fact that I've been working there for 4 years, but over the years, over those seasons, we've had a range of different students help me out, or we've opened up opportunities for the students. So the first year I had a PhD, a third year student do his project with the club. So he came along and did some tackle testing, understanding how hard the players can tackle, which was really interesting. That student was able to present the work at a national conference, which was really good for the student. So again, giving that student really good opportunities.
Yeah.
I've had other students come down and help me with the day-to-day running on matches, sort of the performance analysis, setting up with the players, giving them practical experience of the type of jobs that you would be involved in if you go and work for any sports teams, really. How you communicate with the players, how professional you are, get the information, get the data, get the equipment set up. We've also had students that have been involved with the Centre of Excellence there as well. So we had they've had a centre of excellence for the past 3 years, and we've had a handful of different students over those 3 years going and helping training camps with the centre of excellence as well. So again, it's been about giving the students the opportunities to practice with an elite level club, which is really good. Gives them the experiences and the foundations to go on and work in other fields, other areas. Like you said, that's been picked up. The work's been picked up at you said the Daily Telegraph. Yeah, it was sort of part of my role was as a research position as well, sort of collecting data, understanding what's going on with the players. We've produced national conference work. We've produced published work from that as well, which is available. And then it's been picked up by the national press, the Daily Telegraph, to run a story about women's rugby, which was really, really good, really, really interesting for us all.
That's brilliant. So thanks for doing that, mate. And yeah, so takeaways from this really is just to grab all the opportunities you can get. As obviously Eddie said there, there's definitely the opportunities out there for University of Sunderland students, but it's about going and asking those questions and sticking your head above the water, really, making yourself known.
Yeah, definitely the best thing to do.
Perfect. All right, mate. Thanks very much.
All right, cheers, Rob. Good speaking to you.